the Town and Community Council Forum, which due to government advice to practice social distancing will be held virtually. The meeting is being recorded and will be available via the Council's website to be viewed as soon as is practicable following the meeting. Everyone participating in the meeting will be accessing this meeting from remote locations. Please could everybody ensure that mobile phones are switched off or to silent mode. Members will have received an electronic copy of the agenda. I will ask officers to present a summary of the key points. For the record, the agenda can be viewed on the Council's website. Members and officers will be speaking at various points during the meeting, and those speaking may switch their cameras on at that point, but I would ask that with the exception of myself as chairperson, at all other times you keep your cameras and microphones switched off, as this will help to minimise background noise and interference and to ensure the connection remains as stable as possible. If any members and officers wish to raise a point or question, you should press the hands up icon on the screen hand at the top right hand side of the Microsoft Teams window, and I'll come to you in the order I receive requests. Please do not use your microphone until I invite you to do so. Please also lower your hand once you've finished speaking. The chat button has been disabled for this meeting. An officer from Democratic Services will be supporting the meeting and will be monitoring the use of microphones throughout the meeting, and when necessary will mute those not being used. I would ask the officers and any other speakers to introduce themselves as and when I invite them to speak during the course of the meeting. Officers too should ensure microphones and cameras are switched off when not in use. I will now proceed to agenda business. And the first item then is to receive apologies for absence. Have we received any apologies, Mark?
We have leader from councillors Mary Hughes, Kerry Reeves and Tracy Lydon. Councillor Smith may be late, and we are quorate.
We are quorate.
Yes,
that's excellent news. And we'll now receive any declarations of interest in accordance with the members' Code of Conduct approved by this authority in September 2008. Do I have any declarations of interest, please? No. We'll now receive for approval the minutes of the last meeting of the Town and Community Council Forum. Can I have a mover and a seconder of those minutes as a true and accurate record of that meeting, please?
Happy to move, Chair.
Thank you, Councillor.
Chair.
Thank you, Councillor Blundell. Everyone in agreement? Okay, thank you, colleagues. The first and only item we have on the agenda today, the first and only item report, is on the Wellbeing and Population Needs Assessment. And that is a report of the Public Services Board, and I'm very pleased to welcome the Chair, Mark Brace, and the Partnership Services Manager, Judith Jones. Croeso, and I will hand over to you both. Welcome.
Thank you, Leader, and thanks everybody for having us here this afternoon. I've circulated a paper previously which gives an outline of some of the work of the Public Services Board, and Mark Brace is here this afternoon and he's going to tell you a little bit more about the assessment and the wellbeing plan. Thank you.
Yes, thanks, Judith. Thanks, Leader, and good afternoon, everybody. My name is Mark Brace. I'm day job is Assistant Police and Crime Commissioner, but I'm here with my hat on as Public Service Board Chair for Bridgend, and I'm also Chair of CUNTAF PSB as well. So we're We'll come on to that later in making the links, but thank you very much for the invitation. So as Judith said, there's a paper that's been circulated in terms of providing some background and context to the Public Service Board and the Wellbeing Assessment, and we are in the middle of the process of the Wellbeing Assessment. This is done every 4 or 5 years to gather the information that we need to create the Wellbeing Plan, which is our strategic intent, if you like, for the next 4 years. And I think, Judith, is it going to be ready next May, isn't it, the assessment, and then we do the Wellbeing Plan after that?
Yeah, that's right, Chair. The assessment will be published by before the 4th of May, and then the Wellbeing Plan the following year.
Great. So this is the second time we've done this, and I think one of the lessons we learned from the last one is I think the last Wellbeing Plan was maybe too wide in its ambition in trying to do everything to everybody. So we've learned the lessons of trying to focus our attention as a public service board. The other thing, the lesson we learned was trying to engage with as many people as possible to get a wide picture of what the issues and concerns are across both Bridgend and Cwmtaf in terms of people's needs and to incorporate those into both the assessment and the Wellbeing Plan. And this is the purpose of meeting with you this afternoon, is trying to widen that engagement. As the report says, there's a questionnaire which we'd like everybody to fill out, and this will provide some basis in defining what those problems and what those issues are. One of the things we've also learned is, even though we're a strategic board and we're looking to work sort of on a wider footprint in terms of Cwmtaf Morgannwg, it's important not to lose sight of what the local issues are. So town and community councils are play an important part and will play an important part in gathering that information to inform the basis of the Wellbeing Plan. The second reason for being here today is and again, another lesson that we've learned over the 4 years, is the need to strengthen the relationship between the public service boards and town and community councils and the communities that we serve. So one of my aims is to strengthen the relationship with you, to understand what your concerns and what your community's concerns and issues are, so that not only that you're able to feed up into this process and feed up into the Public Service Board, but we're able to use you as advocates for the PSB as well, and a communication channel back to the communities to understand, as I said, what those issues are and whether what we're doing as a Public Service Board is actually making a difference. So there's a key part that you can play with us, so that we understand as a strategic body whether we're doing the right things in the right areas to the right people. I didn't want to say too much in terms of the Wellbeing Assessment. What I would like is questions and suggestions or anything like that you've got in terms of how we can take things forward. But as I said, the two main reasons for coming tonight is to make you aware of the Wellbeing Assessment, the questionnaire that you can help us provide information, and also as an opportunity to strengthen relationships. So if there is anything particular on a thematic or an issue basis that you've got in your local area that you'd like to talk to us about, please do. We can arrange some meetings as we go forward to talk about specific things. And certainly the things that come out of the Wellbeing Plan, especially as we've gone through the COVID pandemic as well, there are certain things in terms of mental health and community issues that have come out that have raised our attention and raised our focus in the Public Service Board. So there's a real opportunity, I think, to strengthen that relationship going forward, and I welcome the opportunity to do that, but also, as I said, to discuss the issues that you've got locally that we can help with within the PSB. Thank you, Chair.
Thanks so much for that really helpful overview of the report. I'll ask now if there are any questions or comments from colleagues, and I'm sure I'd be happy to answer any of those questions. And I should have said that Judith, as well as being responsible for the Public Service Board and in all its workings, also responsible for community safety, leading on that for the authority. And I reference that because that's a very important example of the value of the Public Service Board and the principle of it. So community safety is an area which we can only tackle in a multi-agency way, and we work very effectively, the local authority with South Wales Police, and that's why Mark is so committed as Assistant Commissioner, and so is South Wales Police. We work closely with the Fire Service, the Probation Service, with different directorates within the authority on tackling and improving community safety. And there are a whole raft of different priorities. Mark has also mentioned mental health, where there are important roles for a number of different agencies, and that's why it's important that we carry out an assessment and we prioritise those actions on a partnership basis, instead of looking at it through the lens of one organisation alone. And that's the purpose of this wellbeing assessment, and it's an important first stage in that process then of prioritising the actions following that wellbeing assessment. Councillor Baldwin, please.
Thank you, Chair. And I'm sorry, Mark, that while you've got some county borough councillors here today who are dual-hatted and also sit on town and community councils, the main focus for this forum is to be able to speak to town and community councillors, and we've got a couple of the clerks here, but limited town and community councillors. Would there be an option for you to be able to attend their meetings if they can factor you in during the time that you need a response on this wellbeing assessment?
Yeah, more than happy to do that. As I said, those of you who know the Police and Crime Commissioner know his commitment to community safety, and as the leader said, we're very aware that community safety, the causes and consequences of issues, are a partnership approach. So as chair of the PSB, I think it's important, and I'm very happy to meet anybody anywhere really to get the message across, to raise awareness of the work of the Public Service Board, but also to get that engagement as well, because it is sort of a bottom-up process. We need to know not just the views of the partnership organisations around the table, but the people who we represent as well. So that's, if we're going to do any good, we need to understand where we can do the most good, if you like. And I think engagement at all levels and with anybody who's prepared to engage is I'm more than happy to do that. So more than happy to meet those town and community councils whenever, really.
Okay, and I am a town councillor for Bridgend Town Council, so the biggest town council across BCBC. But I think if you can write however you choose to do that, through whether it goes through our democratic services or whether Judith or the PSB writes to them, I'm sure our clerk would be able to try and factor in to our agendas for you to be able to visit and do a presentation. Luckily, it will be, I say visit, it's a virtual visit you'll be doing, so we're still in that process. But thanks for that, Mark.
No, it's all, and also, as I said, it's an opportunity to strengthen that relationship, and I see it as part of an ongoing process. So it's not just a one-off; it's a continual engagement as well. Because, as I said, it's important to know whether the stuff we're doing in the wellbeing plan and the services we provide are making a difference. So, as I say, it's an ongoing relationship.
Okay, thanks for that, Councillor Baldwin. Thanks for that, Mark, and thanks for that offer. I'm sure it's much appreciated. And there are obviously a number of town councils which have specific legal duties that they'll need to fulfil. And Judith, have we got a list of those community councils that do have a duty? I've got an idea, but I wouldn't like to get the list wrong.
No, it does change all the time, Leader, and there are one or two surprises as well that we found out recently. Perhaps the smaller community councils that perhaps wouldn't have been obvious that they would have been over the 200k. But we will, going back to the Councillor Baldwin's point, we as a team can contact all the clerks and offer Mark's that we can arrange meetings with us as a support team and Mark to go along, and us as a support team are always happy to go and talk to clerks of the council if they want any advice about the guidance around their obligations to include or make a contribution to the wellbeing objectives. We'd welcome that. So I think if we contact everybody, sort of laying out some of that and saying that we're happy to arrange appointments, that might be helpful.
I think that would be very helpful, because you are right, actually. I'm thinking about it now. I'm sure there are 4 towns would have a duty, but actually I'm thinking about, and in case I'm wrong, but a community council that's in the west of Bridgend that serves very large communities there, is probably within that bracket, and there may be other community councils that serve quite large communities in terms of population that would also have that responsibility. So I think identifying them and contacting them would be helpful.
Yes, we can share.
Excellent. Any other questions or comments? Councillor Davis, please.
Yeah, just to say, Chair, I believe Maesteg Town Council falls into that category. If I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure they would do, yeah. It has been mentioned this, in meetings, so look forward to Judith and Mark attending, to be honest.
Good.
The clerk, I'm sure, can be arranged. There is a meeting coming up the first Monday, it's the first Tuesday of December, which isn't far away, so I don't know if it's too late for that meeting now, but it'll be the new year otherwise, wouldn't it? Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, thanks. That's helpful to know, because there is a duty to publish a report detailing the progress it has made. So I'm sure we can offer help around how they prepare that report, but a report does have to be made. And I'm assuming, it needs to be more than one line, doesn't it? I think there needs to be some detail that goes with that, and it doesn't have to be War and Peace either, I'm sure, but there does need to be some thought that goes into that report, because it is a duty, and there is always that possibility that someone will challenge an organisation if they're not seen to be fulfilling that duty. Councillor Baldwin, please.
Sorry again, Leader. Perhaps Mark Galvin might be able to help as well. There is a clerks meeting that happens as well as the Town and Community Council Forum. I don't know when the next one of those is planned for, but it may be an opportunity to have all the clerks in one place. I don't know how well attended it is, but that may be an opportunity as well to be able to speak to people.
Okay, yeah, that's a good suggestion, Councillor Baldwin. Mark, please.
Yeah, it was just a suggestion as well. I don't know if it's an opportunity to, and I know some of the members of Town and Community Councils are on the Asset Board, Judith. Yeah,
that's right.
And once the assessment and plan is published, there's going to be sort of a governance structure with subgroups, and whether it's an opportunity for some members to be on that, but also whether it's an opportunity for some members to be represented on the Public Service Board. And then, there's a channel of communication back into either the clerks or the Town and Community Councils. I'm just thinking, there's plenty of opportunity now, is how best we could manage that.
Yeah, thanks, Mark. And give that some thought, isn't it, about how we do that? Yeah, it's an important link. Okay, well, I can't see that anyone else wants to come in, and I'm not one for dragging out the meeting longer than it needs to last. And just to emphasise really how approachable both Mark and Judith are. So you've got their contact details. It is a serious responsibility that needs to be taken seriously. But actually it could be it will be a helpful exercise in identifying what you're doing, what you possibly need to do more of, and potential work with partners. So I would urge colleagues in our town and the relevant large community councils to engage in this process, because it can seem daunting, but a little sort of distant probably to some members. But we're here to help try and make that process understandable and achievable. Mark and then Judith before we wrap up. Then.
Yes, so, sorry, Lee. It's just made me think of something. Is that if there is work in local areas, there's a lot of expertise around the Public Service Board table as well that can help. And I think one of the lessons from another area where we've engaged with town and community councils is it's not just solely the council's responsibility to do everything. And I think one of the benefits of this is it allows local groups to tap into that expertise around the table, and it's something perhaps we can help with in joining the dots there and linking groups to the expertise.
Absolutely, yeah. Thanks for that, Mark. You are right. There's a wealth of experience there, a very specialist experience as well. Thanks, Mark. Judith, please.
Yes, thank you, Leader. Just to say that we will be circulating our questionnaire, and would really plead with people to complete it individually, if possible, as individual town and community councillors.
Yes.
That's part of our
course.
Getting the views of people, and that part of the consultation, the parts of the assessment ends the 17th of December. And then town and community councils are statutory consultees for the assessment itself. Right. So then sort of early in the new year, probably towards the end of January, the assessment document together with our engagement work will be going out for consultation again and again. Would really welcome feedback from town and community council members on the draft assessment itself. So just as a reminder.
That's a really good reminder. There is no prize for taking part, only the knowledge that you're helping with a very important assessment and plan. And I'm sure it doesn't take very long, does it, Judith?
No, matter of minutes, but we would be very grateful for your contribution. Thank you, Leader.
Excellent. Thank you. Thank you all for your attendance at this meeting. And once again, in particular, much appreciation to Mark and Judith, and look forward to seeing you all again soon. So we will close the meeting now. Before I close the meeting, just a reminder to those colleagues on the Town and Community Council Forum, if you want to agenda any items for future meetings, then please do get in touch, and we'll look to receive a report on those items. Thank you all for your attendance. Oh, Councillor Smith wanted a quick one before we wrap up.
Yeah, just very briefly, following on from a little conversation we had at the beginning about how attendance has fallen off during pandemic.
Yes.
I'm wondering whether the 4 PM Monday timing is appropriate now when we're online. I wonder if we could do a little email out to members, see if there's another time of the week that might be better. I don't know whether that's helpful or not.
No, I think that's very helpful, because this was in part was because of the arrangements around the civic offices being closed, wasn't it, I assume? So without having a big discussion on this, what I can ask our Democratic Services Manager to undertake is some sort of exercise where we contact town and community councils, try and establish why attendance has declined, and if there are ways of improving attendance, and then that may possibly include changing the times of the meetings, and we'd be very happy to consider that if we thought it would improve attendance.
I think, Leader, it's good practice to do a timings and meeting survey on a committee by committee basis from time to time, because the membership of committees change.
Yes, of course.
And as Councillor Smith rightly said, the COVID pandemic and going from meetings live to remotely does have an impact on an attendance, you know. So I will do
Yes,
that.
it does.
I'll write to each town and community council and to members from this authority on the forum, and we'll see what comes back.
Thanks very much, Mark. Much
you.
appreciated. All the best. See you all
Yeah.
soon.
Bye-bye.
Have a good Christmas if I don't see you.